Welcome to the Nathaneal Podcast. Today we have a very big guest, one of the biggest creators that I know in X, Dakota Robertson. Welcome.
Thank you, good sir. I appreciate you having me on, and I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, excited too. And one of the things that really stand out to me, one connection that I think we both have is our stories are actually quite parallel. So if you don't mind sharing, I also didn't grow up with a father. Like my father left before I was born even. And like I had to raise myself too in a way because I watched your story and I wanted to like ask you about that. Like how did it affect your, in a way, childhood, your personhood in general, having to raise yourself in a way?
Yeah, I definitely grew up fast. I learned that I had to look out for myself in a lot of ways. My mom was very caring, very loving. I'm very grateful for that. But that, like, just her raising me primarily it made me more feminine, or adopted more feminine traits. So as a kid growing up, I was very shy, timid, and yeah, I was just really to myself and not that masculine. And that resulted in me just kind of being the loner a lot of the time. I eventually became kind of chubby. I would like eat double stuffed Oreos. Oh my God, those are so good. But I became the chubby kid, and people made fun of me, and I just didn't like who I was for a lot of the years growing up. And it was around, I think, the age of 12 that I started going to the gym and working out. I would go to boot camps at the YMCA and just work out like a madman. And that really sparked my self-improvement journey and just showed me, if you just put in a lot of time and energy and effort into something over time, if you're consistent, it'll turn into something greater. And that that was a lesson that I adopted really early on. I'm very grateful for that. But yeah, I had to teach myself masculinity and all this stuff growing up. And, there's many times in my life I wish I had a father or someone I could ask for advice, and I just didn't have that. But I'm grateful that I went through that, because now I can connect with other people who were in the same situation or are in the same situation and show them, hey, it's like, you don't need a father. I mean, it'd be nice to have one, but you can still turn out semi-okay. I mean, I'm definitely a bit kooky in some ways, but I like it. It's more fun that way.
Yeah. That's one of the things, because your most viral tweet is something about like, if you're a guy in your 20s, read this. And a lot of the things that you talk about there really resonated with me, because again, like you, actually, that's also how I found my confidence, through fitness. And I started a little bit late because it was during the pandemic. So I was a rebel, actually. During the pandemic where everything was closed, I was like wearing my mask and running around in my province, just like doing fitness, because I met David Goggins at that time. And he was the one who kind of like got me out of the shell. I remember your story is like your stepdad, I think, who like took you to the gym, right? I had that virtually through David Goggins. He was the one who talked about, his story, also like having an abusive father also, and then like going out and going through the unknown. So that's what I did. I even went insane there. I was like 18. I was running until David Goggins was like, until I can't run anymore. And then when my legs don't work, I was like, fuck it, bro. We're still gonna do that, like pull-ups, push-ups. So yeah.
At least you didn't shit yourself while you're running like he did. That was some intent. When I read that, I was like, holy shit, this guy ain't fucking around.
Yeah, that was too intense. That didn't happen. But I like to pretend like when my feet hurt, even if it was just like a minor, what do you call it? Like the tendonitis. Even if it was a tendonitis, I was thinking, man, my foot's broken. I'm still gonna go. I'm just exaggerating it. But yeah, it definitely helps, like the fitness. And you are an advocate for this, right? Like lifting weights, because when you do like, 100 reps of push-ups, you're not gonna see your chest puff up immediately, right? Mm-hmm. But what fitness teaches you is that you can invest this amount of time, and over time, like in the future, you will see the results. And I think as a kid, I was a victim of, if something is uncomfortable, I'm going to run away from it, because, I'd rather just do something that feels good. So I'm curious, like, other than eating, like, what were your getaways when you were a kid?
Oh, dude, I was heavy into gaming. When I could, I would just game. I loved it. I would play
What games
different.
did you play?
So my favorite of all time, and I still play it once in a while, is Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2. It's an RPG Star Wars game. Best game ever. Oh my god! If they come out with Knights of the Old Republic 3, I'm praying to God it comes through. But I'm gonna be binging that. But yeah, that Call of Duty, a bunch of like Oblivion, a bunch of like RPGs, anything with storytelling, like you can choose your own adventure. I love those. But yeah, I like the Call of Duty. I played competitively a little bit. Not like MLG, but like game battles and stuff online for those nerds that know what I'm talking about. But yeah, definitely video games was a huge one for me up until the age of around 18, 17.
Right.
But yeah, it's just my escape, because you could level up your character. You could be anyone you want and go on these adventures. It was great. And, me being a chubby kid growing up, just like, okay, I can be Dakota, the loser, or I could be, whoever, this like
hero,
powerful character, right? It's this escape. But no, I had some great times. I met some great people doing that. But yeah, it definitely wasn't going to take me where I wanted to go in life. And that's why I'm grateful I found fitness, because it was something else I was interested in. I was decent at, and I got a lot better at, and I saw good results, and I went more the fitness route. And then obviously sports too. Like, I was forced into a lot of sports growing up, and I didn't like it at the time, but looking back on it, I'm very grateful I was put into a lot of those. But yeah, and then reading, I read a lot of fiction as a kid, and I think that's what really developed my love for stories and writing. And those are the main ones, really.
Right, gotcha. And you mentioned earlier, it's like gaming wasn't taking you away towards what you wanted in life. Like, do you remember what your primary vision was when you were a kid? Like, what were you aiming towards at that time?
Honestly, I wasn't running toward anything, but I was more so, I don't like who I am. So I was more moving away from pain than I was moving toward pleasure. And it wasn't until like that pain got so heavy with not liking myself that I started to make a change, going to the gym. And then once I saw that I could have control over my life and make changes, that's was like, oh, well, if I can do this, like, what else can I change? And that's when I started thinking, like, okay, who do I want to become? Like, what path do I want to go? It was just really cool to see the improvement, because you're just turning your own life into a video game, right? You're leveling, like I was leveling up my strength stat. And then when I started reading books, I was leveling up my intelligence, and then just kind of gamifying things, which is pretty fun.
Right. And after that, because I remember your story, you actually became an electrician. Like, how did you go from gym bro to electrician?
Yeah, dude. So my brother was an electrician, and he went that route because our school had a trades program where you could graduate early, like I think half a year early, and then you start studying electrical. And my brother, he loves building stuff. He's very like engineer minded. And that just appealed to him. So he went that route, and he's 3 years older than me. So he paved the way for that. And I didn't know what I wanted to do going out of high school. So I was just thinking to myself, okay, I don't want to make minimum wage at a crappy job. And I don't want to go to college for something I don't know if I'm going to use or want to do. Yeah. So I just thought to myself, well, while I figure it out, I'm just going to become an electrician. My brother's already paved the path. So I graduated a bit early from high school, went in the electrical program for a year, learned all of that. And then my brother, he's very extroverted. So he made a lot of friends in the electrical industry, and he was able to put me in contact with a company up north in the oil and gas industry as an electrician, and thankfully I landed a job doing that. Absolutely hated it. One of the worst times of my life, but it was good lessons.
Right. Well, like, and then what made you decide that I'm not for this? Like, is there any? Yeah.
So I look like the Chad, construction worker guy, but I am more of the creative type and I enjoy that stuff. But dude, I got up there, and I don't know if you've been to Canada, specifically Alberta or northern BC. It gets cold, man. And it was in the middle of winter. It's -30 to -40. I'm in the middle of nowhere, like literally nowhere. You have to fly out to these random places in the middle. You have to drive for 2 to 4 hours up to these camps, and there's no civilization whatsoever. It's literally camps, and you work for 12 hours, 12 to 14 hours a day. You come back, you eat your meal, you go to sleep. You do the same thing every single day. And then me, being the youngest guy on the site, if you're in any field with men, you're the guy that gets all the shit. You get picked on, you get whatever. You just go through the ringer, man. And me just being super green and a newbie, I just got the tail end of it all and had to do all the shitty jobs. And man, the people up there are miserable too. Like, imagine doing that for 40 years of your life, 20 years of your life, and you just know that's the only thing you're going to do in life. Those people are miserable. They're absolutely miserable. And they weren't getting paid too well as well,
right.
Comparatively. But yeah, they were absolutely miserable. So I didn't really make friends with any of them.
Right.
Some of them were really nice, but yeah, I was just miserable. And the work, you're just working all day in the cold, surrounded by miserable people. Bro, I was on the borderline depression just working that job. And when I could, I would have an earbud in my ear, just listening to podcasts, stuff like that. And I remember one podcast host, Jordan Harbinger, he mentioned how he went to Vietnam and it was one of the best things he ever did in his life, and just travel in general. And it just got me thinking, I'm 18, 19, however old I was, and I'm working this crappy job. Sure, I'm making decent money for my age, but it's like, there's got to be more to life. Yeah. And I just kept thinking about, traveling and, what's out there, because I got a very open personality. I like trying new things.
Right.
So yeah, I just got to the point where I got fed up with work. It was probably after like 4 months or whatever it was, because you work 3 weeks on, 1 week off.
Yeah.
I just got fed up real quick. Eventually, I think I started at a new job my brother was on, which is a lot better, but I worked there for a while, but booked a plane ticket to Thailand, Vietnam, and Cambodia. And I said it. I was like, okay, in December, I'm going to go and just see what's up and just check it out. And so I quit my job after a little bit, and yeah, just backpacked for a while. And it was the best time of my life. It was amazing. It was great. It was such a fun time.
Right. Yeah. I saw your pictures there. You were like, you shot a bazooka, bro. Like, that was cool.
Dude, when I heard you could shoot a rocket launcher in Cambodia, that's when I was like, oh yeah, I'm going there. That's the only reason. Only reason I went there. Absolute only reason. Because I was like, how many times in your life are you going to be able to shoot a rocket launcher?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw your video there. Like, when you shot it, you were like so excited.
Yeah. I had an adrenaline rush when you like feel the grenade launcher just fire, and then you just watch it explode. It's like, holy shit.
It was cool.
It was sick.
I'm from the Philippines, so like, if you ever think about visiting here again, maybe we can like go there.
Yeah, dude. I actually want to learn to surf, and I heard the Philippines has some dope spots. So
yeah. My province. So right now I'm in the city, but the province that I live in is quite close to those places. So yeah,
Sweet.
Definitely hit me up if you come here. But yeah, just going back to that. So you traveled, and I just wanted to say that, like, really, when I was like listening to your story, it was so similar to me, because again, like, I was also fat, and then I got into the fitness stuff, and then I actually also kind of like went to the unknown, because again, my family, it's quite complicated, it also is kind of messy. We have a mess situation there. So I was like, man, if I stay here, if I continue this path, I went to college and I was following their path. My mother's a lawyer, and I was also like, she paved the way, and I was also following it. So it's like you and your brother. And then I was like, man, if I don't really like this, I feel like I wanted more than just a high income job, a stable job. And I took the leap. I left home last year, and I also work like this. I also work odd jobs. I was fixing files for people. I did like crazy work in engineering department too, carried stuff. And then I found this stable job that could make me do college, which is a night shift customer service. So I would work from 8 p.m. to 4 a.m. and then like go to college still until I found X. But yeah, after you went to Southeast Asia, you went back to Canada and started like doing some business stuff, right? Like you tried doing some, I think business models, different business models.
Yeah.
And, like, how did that go?
Yeah, so I got back from traveling. Well, it's funny because in my last month of traveling, I was talking to my brother on the phone. He was mentioning this Bitcoin thing, and it was like late 2017 at this point. He's like, yeah, like Bitcoin, like all this stuff. It's like, dude, you should be careful with that stuff. Like it sounds like kind of crazy. I think this was after the big 2017 crash. So early 2018, right after that big crash. And I remember getting back, and I worked as an electrician again, just like pretty much immediately. Absolutely miserable, the contrast between traveling and being free and then working again 12 to 14 hours a day. But one of the coworkers got him into crypto, and then my brother started getting into it, and he went down the rabbit hole. And then, that's when I kind of got into crypto, and kind of getting into that. Like, I don't know, it kind of sparked my mind more for like business and entrepreneurship. All those, like I was already kind of into it, like reading books here and there on it.
Yeah.
But just like getting more into finance and money really was motivating. But I worked that job for a while, and then I was just looking for different ways to make money with my friend Nathan. We tried Amazon FBA. I tried flipping iPhones, so I would buy them cheap, broken off Facebook Marketplace, repair them, and then flip them for a profit. Yeah. I tried selling, I tried going to the thrift stores to buy mugs or anything and flipping it on eBay. Yeah, I got that from Gary Vee. I was like selling mugs and stuff. I remember I sold a mug and I was like, oh my God, it's amazing. And then it broke in the packaging when it got delivered to them, and I had to refund them. And then blogging, I tried that. That didn't go anywhere. Making a website, like it just never went anywhere. And
you're still working engineering at this time, or no?
Electrician, yeah, I did that, and I was just like jumping from job to job. So I tried delivering, I tried serving, I tried being a medic for a while. Like I've tried all these different types of jobs, security guard. But during that whole time, I was just trying to figure out, okay, how can I make a side hustle? How can I, what can I do to actually make money and be free? Because at the end of the day, I just wanted to be free. I just wanted to do my own thing and not be told what to do or work these crappy hours. So I experimented a lot, and it was a wild ride. Yeah.
And then you mentioned also you were like, you went to college. Like, what prompted you to do that?
Yeah. So I got fed up with the work of being an electrician, and I was just thinking like, I don't enjoy this work. What work do I think I would enjoy? And I just remember all the teachers who I connected with throughout my whole time, throughout school, and they were really encouraging, a lot of them, and big inspirations for me. And I just love teaching. I think I can take complex topics, because I'm not the brightest person, but I will sit down and I will learn something. And since I'm not like a super genius. Once I learn it, I can explain it to other
Yeah,
potatoes.
an idiot.
Yeah, exactly. So I think I'm really good at that. And so I was like, oh, I'll be a teacher. And although I knew they make shit all for money, I was like, you know what? I'll probably like the work, and they get summers off, so I can, I can work on any side hustle and do that. But it was a 4-year degree, and I was just thinking, okay, if I don't figure out something within these 4 years, any side hustle or whatever, like, okay, I'll just be a teacher, and then, I'll see if I like it, and then I can maybe figure something out if I don't. So that was my plan. But yeah, I did my first year, and then I took a break to go be a medic and make some money. And then I went back for my second year, and it was at the start of my second year. That's when I was on Twitter because of crypto to keep up with the news. Right. And I came across a course, and they were like, grow your Twitter audience. I was like, oh, this is interesting. And then that's what got me indoctrinated into the whole Twitter cult.
Yeah. I remember that story. It's like you were just posting platitudes, because that's part of your welcome sequence, right? Like the email course that you have. Yeah. I've taken it. And like you were just posting platitudes, and then you saw this, and then you made the gap framework, things like that. Yeah. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about what you mentioned. Well, now you're a teacher, actually, and you didn't. It
Straight up,
take you those. It didn't take you those 4 years.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then I make like 10 times more than my professors did. It's so crazy to me.
Yeah, and you're teaching 263,000 people.
It's nuts. Yeah, and that's just Twitter. It's like, we got all the other platforms too, and then it's like so much more impactful because I'm teaching stuff that's actually going to benefit people. It's actually applicable to the real world, opposed to college or the regular schooling system. Like majority of that stuff you're just never going to use, and it's like that. No wonder kids are not engaged, because it's just not relevant, right? Yeah, it's kind of a joke.
And I think that's what's beautiful about X and online business in general, because when you take courses and read ebooks and things like that, you read it and you don't go up to the teacher and say, did I do a good job in this test? It's like you get information and then you test it out in public, post it in public, and then the people will give you the feedback. I think that's what's missing with the traditional educational system, is that we get information from the teacher, and then we give back the information to the teacher if we did it right. I don't think that's really effective in the real world.
No, man. Yeah, it's a shame. It's like a lot of it too. It's crappy because the teachers, they don't want to. They know it's not useful, but they have to do it because it's their job, and the curriculum set by whatever higher power, and it's just so outdated. It's ridiculous. Yeah.
I remember one of the biggest investments that you made was Dan Koh's course, right? What was this course again?
It was one-on-one coaching. Right. So he had a curriculum laid out, and then each week we'd hop on a call, or I'd hit him up in the DMs while I was going through it. But he would review all the stuff I went through in the first part, and then give me feedback. And yeah, because I had, I think, $8,000 in my bank account. His coaching was $6,000. And that's when I really got my ass in gear, because, you can buy $200 courses, $100 course, and you're like, okay, cool, there's good info. But how many courses do you take action on? It's unless they're really good, it's very few. When I paid that $6,000, I was like, oh shit, I really gotta, I can't dilly daddle here. I gotta actually do stuff. Because before I was just procrastinating a lot of it. But I'm really thankful that it was a high price, because that's what just got me in gear.
Yeah. Again, this is what's so funny for me when I'm hearing your story, is that's the exact same thing that happened to me. Because I was just posting stuff, and then I bought, I enrolled in Jack Moses' cohort, and then he talked about how, the way into the creator economy is learn a skill, monetize the skill, sell the skills like coaching, and then cohort, and then course, and then becoming more widespread. And so when I saw that, I was like, oh, okay, learn a skill. I got into the creator economy because of Nicholas Cole, The Art and Business of Online Writing. And because I already trusted Cole, I was like, oh, ghostwriting. Okay, enroll in the Ghostwriting Academy, right? And that was they don't disclose the price, but when I hopped on the call, it was like 7K. And dude, I had like 5K on my my bank account, even less.
Yeah.
And I was like, if they promise 5K in 8 weeks or 10K in 8 weeks, then I will make this amount of money through a plan and everything will add up.
Yeah.
I was thinking that way. I was just doing napkin.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, let's do a deal then. Like monthly plan, okay. And man, they said take the course, like the like each, because there's per week there's a module, right? So they say take the module per week. I was like, fuck that, bro. I'm gonna
make money.
Fuck that, bro. I'm going to binge this whole thing in like 1 week, everything in 1 week, and then execute and then like continue iterating. And so yeah, I remember that time and nothing was happening, but it eventually worked. But yeah, I definitely get what you mean when you like make that massive investment. It's like you need to do it, you know?
Yeah. And like when you make your first sale too, you realize it's all possible. Like, oh shit, this actually works. This is crazy.
Yeah, I remember that. Like I journaled when I wrote in my journal, like I really bookmarked that part because that was the day that, holy shit, like I made $1 online. And it was a big deal. It was like 12.5K. So I was like, damn, my first sale is worth this much. Like things can happen here, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's crazy. So so just to clarify, like the Danco coaching it was just like, what was the curriculum about?
It was how to grow your following, and then like how to come up with your offer, how to do emails, like all this like you know, A to Z, how to, you know, grow and monetize your audience. I was already like at a few thousand followers at the time, so it was like it really helped me. Like I wasn't going from 0 to 1. It was like, okay, I'm going 1 to 10, which made it a lot easier. And so it's just like, oh shit, you know, I just got to figure all this stuff out. But yeah, no, it was great. It really got my ass in gear. And then I became good friends with Dan too because of that. And actually ended up living with him for a while, which was great. I love that guy. He's a gem.
Yeah, he's cool. And so it wasn't like particularly for ghostwriting. So he didn't say, I'm going to teach you how to ghostwrite. It was just like...
No, but coincidentally enough, he did try ghostwriting for a little bit before me. And he was going to start an agency, but that never panned out. So he had some experience and he was able to help me with that, which was great. And I remember asking him, like, how much should I charge? He's like, okay, charge $3K a month at the start. And I was like, holy shit, what? That's a lot. It's like, you charge that much? Like, it's like, I was thinking like maybe $1,500. Like, and he's like, no, just do that. I was like, okay. And I took some sales calls and eventually landed a client, and then landed one for $5K a month after, and then another one for $3K a month after. So yeah, it's cool.
And what were you ghostwriting? What was your offer like? Your first offer?
It was, I'll get you a minimum of 1,500 followers a month in 30 days, or I will work for free until you do, plus get you an extra 1,000 followers at no extra cost.
Right. Gotcha.
Yeah, it was a killer offer.
Yeah. Just curious, like, do you think that at that time it was easier to like land clients compared to now, or what do you think about that?
It was definitely easier. Yeah, definitely easier to land clients because there was no ghostwriters.
Right.
You know, I was one of the first, so everyone was like, what the fuck? And it was a lot easier to grow back then too, because you know, so few people on Twitter, or few creators. And I think the algorithm was a lot better, but yeah, I mean, it was pretty great. But now it's like, it's funny because yes, there's way more ghostwriters, but most of them are shit and can't fulfill on what they offer. A lot of them have like 20 followers and they're saying, I'll get you to 10,000 followers. Like, what? So it's like, yeah, there's a lot more ghostwriters, but it's just creating more noise. But for the good ghostwriters that actually like know what they're doing, it's so easy to get clients. It's ridiculous. But yeah, it's interesting.
Right. And what do you think makes up like a good ghostwriter?
Well, one, they okay, depends on their offer. Are they doing leads or are they doing followers? Let's just use followers for this point. But if you're offering Twitter growth services as a ghostwriter, you better damn well at least have 1,000
decent following,
like 2,000 followers. It's like, what are you doing? Like, how are you going to fulfill for these people if you don't know how to do it for yourself? There's the rare case where like someone has got 500 followers, but they know how to do it for some reason because they've just done it for other accounts and didn't focus on their own. But you're going to have a way easier experience landing clients and basically scaling if you just grow your own brand. Yeah. So yeah, just really knowing how to do it for yourself and then transferring that for somebody else. That's like number one. And then staying on top of trends. So understanding, okay, what's working right now in the algorithm and what's not working before. So you got to be adjusting. So like right now on Twitter, for example, you've seen those posts where it's like, this is Elon Musk. He's blah, blah, blah. Here's 10 lessons I learned from studying for 58 hours or whatever it is. Just take this well-known figure. Well, it's like you're playing the game, right? There's nothing wrong with that, right? Yeah. So it's just, you got to do what you got to do, right? And if anyone hates on that, it's like, okay, whatever. Fuck them.
I remember I was in the call because I've been building a community. I was in a call of one of my friends, and he was like asking me whether he should work, like offering, because he was making an offer page that he will work for free or something like that. And at that time he had 200 followers. And I was thinking, it's like, man, if you're going to work for free for someone, why don't you just work for free for yourself? It's like, what?
That's like a very good point. Yeah.
Right? It's like, if you're going to work for free for someone to grow their following, don't you think that the testimonial for your own account like speaks more than a testimonial from another account? Yeah.
I mean, 100%. And then you're only going to increase your pool of potential clients if you grow your own account, right? So yeah, that's what I always, because like with my cohort for ghostwriting, the first month we don't even talk about ghostwriting. We just like, here's how you should grow your account. Here's what you do. Here's how you write. Here's how you use AI, like all this stuff. If you don't do it for yourself, it doesn't matter if you know how to ghostwrite. Just like you're just gonna have a bad time.
Yeah, it's like a broke person telling someone I can make you rich, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I always say it's like you're like a fat personal trainer if you're doing that. Yeah.
So yeah, you were doing ghostwriting at that time. Like how many clients, or how did you transition from being a ghostwriter to being a coach in a way?
Yeah, so I think it was about 2 years in on my Twitter journey. I had around 100 and something thousand followers, but I was just only focused on ghostwriting the agency and just scaling that up. I scaled that up to 30 to 50K months. And it's a lot of work. Like if you're ghostwriting, like we're doing hundreds of threads a month when we're at like max capacity. And it was, when did I transition? I just saw Dan doing these cohorts and making a shit ton of money. JK doing like offers, like selling a course or coaching, and he's making a crap ton of money. And I was looking at him like, I got this huge audience and I haven't like sold anything to them. And like, I know I'm missing out on a lot of money and like doing stuff I would probably enjoy more. So I was still working the agency, but I was like trying to think of like how to monetize, like building out a cohort. Eventually went to Dubai. It was November of 2022.
Is this with Talon?
Yeah, Talon and I went with two other friends, and I met up with Andre Heckel Jr. From Client Ascension, a Twitter bro, and we're smoking cigars in Dubai, and he was like, dude, you should do a cohort for ghostwriters and train ghostwriters. And I was like, that's genius. I was like, fuck, that's really smart. Like, I've done something. I've scaled my agency to 30 to 50K a month, and a lot of people want to know how to do that. There's no person teaching ghostwriting, at least at that point. And then, January, I launched my offer with a cohort showing people, I'm going to show you how to do ghostwriting. I launched the first ghostwriting offer ever, like we're teaching people it. And it was a huge success. I made 150K cash collected in that month. And then I think it was like made like 250 plus K after the contracts paid in. So I was like, just blew my fucking mind. I was like, you can make a shit ton of money doing like teaching people stuff. And it was really fun too, like, because I enjoy teaching people. Right. And it was really fulfilling because a lot of people got results. It was telling me, like Jack Moses told me he dropped out of college. Yeah. A bunch of people quit their jobs. Like, it was like, holy shit. Like, I literally changed these people's lives, or I helped them change their lives. And it was cool because, one, selfishly, like, you make a lot of fucking money. And two, I just love teaching people. It's like, this is dope. And then 3, I don't fucking know what 3 is, but it was fun.
You also help people make money. So it's like,
yeah, it's like an ethical MLM. Because Jack Moses, now he ran a cohort and he's like taught you.
I was in it. And then he helped me do that too. So
cool. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. But so I'm really curious about this. It's like, because you were doing, I think you were doing an agency, but you were also doing a cohort. Didn't you find that like kind of taxing?
Yeah. So I tried running that for 5 months. I tried doing both of them, and I just got to a point where I was like, I'm getting burnt out. I'm trying to manage these clients. I'm trying to manage 43 done with you coaching clients, and then I was trying to manage like 5 high ticket clients done for you. It's a lot of work, man. And then I'm trying to create content for my own brand on multiple platforms. I was getting really stressed out, and I was just sitting back. I was thinking, okay, how much money am I making from the ghostwriting? Right. Okay, it's a decent amount, but how much more potential do I have with the coaching program? It's like a lot more, because as I scale my brand, I can scale the coaching program. So I was just looking at it, I'm like, I enjoy the coaching way more than the done for you. And I just like, okay, I'm going to drop my clients and I'm going to focus on the coaching program, because I think the biggest thing that screws people up, and then one thing I realized early on, was you need to focus on one thing, one primary thing. Because if you're going from business model to business model, you're trying to have all your hands in these different cookie jars, you're just going to dilute your focus, your energy, and then you're not going to do any of them well. So one of the hardest things as you scale is learning to say no to the shiny objects, the sexy things that will make you a lot of money. But if you focus on the one thing, you'll make way more money, because you're going to learn the nuance of things. You're going to get so much better, so much quicker. And then it's just going to scale up, and then nobody can compete with you. If I was focusing on those two things at the same time still, I don't know where I'd be. I'd probably be like a fraction of the progress that I am now. So right now I just, focus on building my own brand, learning how to write better content, scale my social media, and then I just teach that to other people inside my program.
I think it's one of the, Hormozi talks about it all the time, right? He talked about how when you pour a cup, like he even made an example where he poured water on all the cups. What you could do instead is like pour it on all one cup until it's overflowing, and then that's when you distribute. And like right now, because my plan is somewhat similar to you. Again, it's like right now I don't really want to do ghostwriting forever. It's like I do want to help people, because that's my advocacy in a way. It's like when I was young, I felt like crappy. Like you, I felt like insecure. I felt like I wasn't worth anything. Like I didn't have anything to offer in the world in a way. And then I just built myself up through like self-improvement, learning from like influencers. And that's actually why I was also drawn to a personal brand, because I changed my life meeting like David Goggins, Jordan Peterson, Joko Willing, these figures in the internet. And I also somewhat want to be that guy who, like when a kid somewhere is like lost, goes to the internet, goes to Twitter or YouTube or somewhere, and then he finds my video, he's like, man, I can do something with my life. It's like I can be in a crappy position and I can still like do something. So yeah, eventually I do want to do coaching and cohorts and like just become a pure creator in a way, and not just doing all these, like doing do for you. But yeah, what do you think, like this is just me asking selfishly for advice, but when do you think that people should pivot in a way? Or like, do you think that, because right now I'm doing ghostwriting, right? And then I'm actually already thinking of doing some coaching offers, because I am already actually building a tribe in a way.
Yeah.
But I've only landed not a lot of clients yet. And I don't feel like I've exhausted everything from the ghostwriting yet. So what do you think about that?
Yeah, I think that's a big thing a lot of people screw up, is they see how much people are making with coaching or courses, and they just see the end result, but they don't see all the things that it took to build up to that. And if you skip the done for you step, and you just go to coaching, well, you're not going to learn the nuance that you need to learn. There's a lot of things that go into fulfillment. How do you get clients? How do you take a sales call? How do you do X, Y, and Z? And if you start coaching people, it's like you're not going to have the perspective or experience to understand the things that go into that. And then not only are you going to screw yourself over with done for you, but you're not going to be able to transfer that knowledge to other people. And it's just like the blind leading the blind. Like I've seen people, they'll join a cohort and they'll just take all the lessons from that and they'll launch their own cohort, and then they'll fucking like they're like teaching people regurgitated stuff they actually didn't actually learn, they never applied. And it's like, you look like a goof if you're like called out, or you're trying to explain how you learn something. It's like you just don't have the experience, you just look like a potato. So it's very necessary to go through client work and do a done for you service before you get into the big money stuff. It's like you got to pay your dues, right? You can't just go on to you can if you want to like sell a coaching program, but it's just, morally I don't think it's really the best move. So I think for you, man, like you're getting some clients, I think just stick with it for another year. Maybe have like a community, something low ticket, where it's not like client coaching, focused. Yeah. So I think maybe more like creator, content focused. I don't know, something where it's low ticket, it's nothing like too crazy
templates,
for fulfillment.
Email templates, something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Just like building a little tribe. And then as you get more experience with the client work, that's when you're like, okay, I've like came up with my own systems, my own ways of doing things, my own perspectives, frameworks. And then I package all of that up and then sell it as a coaching program. And then once I get results for the clients in my coaching program, that's when I can package it all up into a course and sell that. And by the time you get to the course, your audience is going to be so much bigger, and it's going to be, you have more authority and you can more social proof, and then you can sell a lot more. That's my approach. Like there's different approaches, but like, that's my perspective.
No, I think it makes sense, because you talk a lot about what's this? Like the full stack creator, which I love the concept of a full stack creator, because I also, now that I'm doing like client work, I'm realizing my flaws, because even when you watch all the Danco videos, right? And you watch all the creator videos, you like follow everyone that's big. Even though you do that, when you actually do it in practice, it's like you see that, I'm actually not that good in sales. Like I'm good at writing, but then when you're in the call, which you also talk about, like you were shaking in your first sales call, right? Yeah. And then you realize like, crap, I'm actually really bad at sales calls, which is me in this position right now. So I'm actually outsourcing. Now I'm realizing it, like I'm talking to sales coaches and looking at their perspective and becoming more like a full stack creator, because I'm learning copywriting, sales, like outreach, all the necessary skills that you can then like transfer to another person, like to your coach.
Yeah, dude. If you want to learn sales, there's a dope dude I really love, Larry, Sales Sensei on Twitter. Great guy, really charismatic. But that guy, if you want to learn sales, that's the guy. Shout out to Larry.
Larry.
But yeah, dude, it's like Larry. I don't know forget his last name, but it's, if you look up Sales Sensei just on Twitter, Yeah, he's got great content. He's a really ethical dude and really switched on.
Right, gotcha.
What was but yeah, dude, it's like you start at level 1 and you like learn these little skills, and then you like kind of level up, and then you got to face the next boss, and then to get to that you got to level up again, and then maybe get some gear like EXP whatever, and then you get the next boss and unlocks new levels. But like each time you get a bigger treasure because you're gaining this experience and then unlocking new levels, maybe new teammates, different stuff like that. So it's like all like a video game. It's really cool. But yeah, I feel you on the sales. Sales can be so daunting at the start. And you're like, oh my God. I hated sales calls. Now I don't mind them. But yeah, it's funny.
Yeah, honestly, like when I hop on sales calls, I just, I try to like be, like in the beginning, I'm cool. But then when I start having the objections, it's like, you try to prepare for it and then you know what to say. But for some reason, it's like I freeze. Know?
Yeah. Well, it's like that fear of rejection or like conflict. Like I was the same way. I didn't want to push back on people, even though I knew I should. It's just, I just like, okay, whatever. Like, I don't want to fight you. Just like, whatever. It's like, yeah, that's fine. Totally reasonable. It's like, I need to talk to my partner when I know damn well it's just, they just want to get off the call. It's like, yeah, well, yeah, it's fine. Yeah. It's like, I'm never going to hear from you again. Oh yeah. Send me a proposal. Yeah, I'll send you a proposal. Yeah, sure. That's what you want.
So right now you're already like a full-time coach in a way. You don't do like ghostwriting, or do you still like do some of that?
No, I don't do any done for you ghostwriting right now. I'm like doing it for myself, so I'm like I don't. Right.
There's no point.
Desire. Yeah, I don't want to do it for somebody else. Yeah, and then it's also like working with the clients in my program. I get to see what content's working for them, so I got my finger on the pulse on different niches, which is good. But yeah, like I ghostwriting is great, but I get more rewards and more fulfillment from writing for myself and creating content that way.
Yeah. And your content rocks, man. But one thing that I noticed is that you, like, I looked through your Instagram and your LinkedIn. You haven't been posting there.
Yeah, I stopped for the past 6 days, because I have this whole content system on Airtable. And the automations with Zapier got screwed up for some reason. And I had to go in and try to reconfigure the automations. It was a shit show. So I just kind of upgraded the whole system and redid it. I just did it today after a few days of tinkering with it, set up new automations, all of that. And then now tomorrow I'll start posting again, coincidentally. But yeah, there's like a week I stopped posting.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay, so to just go back to the full-time creator, I wanted to ask this: like, what are the necessary skills? Like, just real quickly, what are the necessary skills do you think a full-time creator needs?
Yeah, so AI, writing, marketing, and sales. I think those are the core 4. I mean, writing definitely, because everything on social media is writing and it's also training you to think. So when you start writing enough tweets, you start thinking in tweets. You cut a lot of the fluff. You're punchier with your words. You're just more impactful, more persuasive, and you're just training your brain. Like going to the gym, you're training your brain how to think, and that's going to reflect in how you speak, how articulate you are, and overall just how persuasive you are. So writing, and then sales. A lot of people, sure, they can get people on calls, but if you to close them, it's a different deal. If you're not confident, if you don't have presence, if you don't know how to use body language to detect tonality, handle objections, actually pitch your offer, you're not going to make as many sales. Marketing, okay, to get people on sales calls, you got to know how to market yourself. You got to know how to structure a landing page, how to create an offer, all these different things. And then you have AI. So AI is just like the crack cocaine that just speeds up everything, just takes it to level 10, So it's crazy, man. Like using ChatGPT and getting really good with it, or any of these AIs, I mean, it's going to reflect in your writing. You can use it for marketing, like offer creation, sales. You could
Market
have
research.
it. Yeah, you could have it. Market research is crazy. And then sales, like you could say, what objections could somebody have at this? And then, okay, help me develop, how to handle these objections using, pretend you're this sales trainer and, come up with some objection handling methods. Right. So AI is just like the icing on the cake. It's not going anywhere anytime. It's never going away. It's just there now. It's like the internet, right? So learning AI, it's like, if you don't learn it, it's like ignoring the internet back when it was starting. Like, you're just not going to make it if you don't learn AI. Or, I mean, maybe you can, but it's just going to be so much easier if you just learn it.
Yeah, that's one of my the things that I'm working on right now is to work on my AI skills. Have you screwed around with the new voice feature in ChatGPT?
I only had voice to text. I've seen the demo, but I never had anything like that. So I don't know if I don't know how to access the feature or if mine hasn't updated. Have you used it?
I've it's become my best friend, bro. What I like to do in the morning is I like to do cardio, and zone 2 cardio is they say, okay, you talk, and then the best way to test it is you talk, and then if you run faster, you can't talk anymore. That's the best test. So I would hop on a call with ChatGPT, and we'd just be having a conversation while I'm biking or while I'm running. That's how I test it. If I'm zone 2, and I also we have conversations sometimes. It's he asks me, "Oh, how is your offer going?" or "How's your business going?" We just
That's
have
some psycho shit, bro. You're a psychopath.
Man, it's hitting two birds with one stone. I prepare for the day because I'm he's recapping me the things that's happening in my life, and I'm also maintaining the zone 2 cardio, so it works for me, bro.
That's hilarious.
But yeah, I still don't know the demo where the video thing, but man, that's insane. When you can, because then you can practice actual sales with him, right? You can actually have a call and then talk with them. So yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, you just got to make sure the data's good because, it could train you in the wrong way. So I still recommend getting coaches and shit, but I mean, on a basic level, it's great.
Yeah, for sure. So just to, this is one of the things that I think people kind of overlook is that when you're a big creator, people think that you're already, you don't have problems anymore, right? You're perfect. When you say you're a full stack creator, that you're already this well built, nothing can fuck around with you. And I just wanted to ask, what are your biggest challenges right now that you're kind of in the top tier creator economy? Yeah.
Big thing is getting back my time. So a big focus for the past year has been systems and processes and building out systems that track things and delegating as well. So creating SOPs on how to do stuff and then getting my VA to do it. But yeah, I invested $14K into an Airtable database just for repurposing content, for getting stuff scheduled out, track different stuff. Yeah, and then I'm learning because I'm more creative, so I'm learning all the system thinking stuff and actually how should I prioritize stuff? How should I, go about doing things? So and then learning how to manage contractors and different people I work with. Yeah. So there's a whole new layer to it, and then getting better at fulfillment. So yeah, I've gotten really good results for people in the past, but it's there's still people. It's they need more help. It's okay, how can I ensure they get more fulfillment? Well, how can I improve my fulfillment? What's how can I make fucking wow factors when someone joins my program? They're oh shit, I don't see anyone doing this. How can you create such a good client experience for somebody where they're with you for life? Because you can sell people into a coaching program, but can you keep them? Can you retain them? So, you sell them into a fucking 5K program, and then at the end of the 3-month cohort, okay, can you get them on a 500 a month reoccurring deal? And you can only do that if your fulfillment's dialed in and you know how to get results for people, and it's not even just the technical aspect, but the emotional experience for the client as well. You know, do they feel seen? Do they feel heard? Are you communicating with them? So learning how to fulfill better as well. I think that's something a lot of people neglect. They just focus on sales and marketing, but how do you work on your fulfillment?
Yeah, because it snowballs, right? It's like you can first upsell them, and if you don't, it's like referrals. So you actually get more clients in a way.
Exactly. Yeah. As referrals are like one of the best ways to get clients. And if you have crazy fulfillment, like people will sell for you. Like I whenever I have a great experience with a coach or consultant, like I hire, I will talk about like Larry, like sales sensei. Like I'll just shout people out if I know they got good stuff, because I think people can benefit from it.
Yeah, for sure. So just to end this, like, what is your goal for the rest? We have 6 months left for June. Like, what do you expect to achieve during that time?
Launch my low ticket community, get that out, and then start building out my course. I'm still kind of debating what to do with it. I might make a writing course, do a little mystery spin on it though. But just still build up my offer ecosystem.
Right. So that was Dakota Robertson. Thanks for hopping in, man.
Of course.
Excited to see the course. I'm really excited for that. Seeing what's in store, and also your community. So thanks for hopping in, and thanks for watching, everyone.
Hell yeah. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you. Bang, bang.